Hey everybody, I'm Dr. Stavros. Today, I'm going to share with you my USMLE Step 1 success system. I'm going to show you how to study and implement these techniques and pass your Step 1 exam with confidence. So who is this presentation for? Well, if you're a medical student or physician struggling to study for your Step 1 exam, studying nonstop, day in and day out, answering questions and not seeing that score really rise and actually decreasing eventually, if you bought all those resources, videos, books, downloaded notes, and you still feel lost, and the school, med school perhaps has a certain timeline, time frame, 3 months, 2 months, even 1 month, and you need to pass the exam in half the time, let's get started. So why are we here today? I will show you a shortcut to be a better test taker, because even though people are telling you, you really have to focus all your attention on building your basic science foundation, that's true, but a skill like test taking is very valuable for the exam, and many students don't have that, and that's why many students fail. Now, I know and you know, consistency and accountability is really necessary for this exam. And well, I'll show you my methods and my ways that's going to improve your study habits as well. And there's 3 main areas of focus that if you focus your attention on these areas, I guarantee a pass on your Step 1 exam. Hi, I'm Dr. Stavros. I attended Manhattan College where I received a BS in biochemistry. I then went to St. James School of Medicine for 4 years. And I realized that I had such a passion working with medical students and physicians to help them pass their STEP exams. I've worked with thousands of students, med students, physicians from all over the world, helped them with Step 1, Step 2, CK, and CS, including NBMEs, for over 10 years. And that's why we're here today. I want to show you my formula, my system that I've created for the past 10 years that's going to guarantee success on you passing your exam. So let's talk about some common challenges. Many medical students fail their first time, and you wonder, why are they failing? Well, they lack a structured study plan. Either A, they have no study plan, B, they download a cookie cutter study plan from some website, or they borrow a study plan from their colleague. The problem is it's not specialized, it's not individualized, and because of that, they can't keep up with it, they eventually give up on it, they don't know what else they're doing, they walk in and fail their test. 2 big factors, accountability and consistency. Now, you need to be accountable. This is a full-time job. If you can't do it, someone can do it for you, with you. And that's where I'm here. And also being consistent. It's a day-to-day routine, 7 days a week. And also they lack motivation and support. Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, motivation isn't ongoing. There's an expiration date. So no matter what happens in life, you have to stay motivated. And majority of doctors out there, maybe including you, don't have that support system. And these are the challenges that students are facing with that make them fail the Step 1 exam. Let's talk about more common reasons for failure. Many students fail because they don't focus on the right material. Now, anyone can buy a book, download a PDF, listen to a podcast, or watch a video. But is the material right for you? Many students, they obtain study plans from friends, from colleagues, from websites, but unfortunately, every student is different. You might have 2 hours to study a day, you might have 8 hours to study a day, and every time you have a study plan, it needs to be structured and created specific to your needs, day to day, resources you're using, and timeline, time frame. You can't just use a cookie cutter plan to adapt to when you have a certain schedule of your own. Students fail because their medical school gives them wrong information. Now, medical schools are meant to teach you medicine, right? Walk you through the different components in the medical basic foundation. Unfortunately, when you have admin telling you study and complete 200 questions a day, and you have MDs who taken their test 5, 10, 15 years ago telling you the same thing, you're focusing your attention on answering more questions, yet you should focus more attention on your content, building your foundation. So even though medical schools do a great job teaching you the medicine, they don't help you with test-taking skills and other techniques. And they usually give the students wrong information. And students fail because there's a lack of system of accountability and support. They might start off strong, but if you don't have a team by your side, you don't have a certain purpose, certain goal, certain discipline, certain objective, then typically people drop off. And because of that, they walk into their exams and they fail their Step 1. And this is why medical school can be so difficult, because all these different reasons for failure, unfortunately, students have to handle it themselves. Do you know the number 1 factor between the difference of passing and failing Step 1 exam? The number 1 factor is a consistent study system. You see, students start strong. They have a study plan maybe, a couple resources provided by their medical students and friends, but then eventually it doesn't work and they drop off. There has to be a consistent work, day by day, implementing techniques, strategies, and also content to make sure that they're progressing week by week, month by month to be ready for exam day. So now, we all know medical knowledge is important. You can't take a Step 1 exam without medical knowledge, but it's not enough. I know and you know of many friends that have studied for 6 months, 8 months, even over a year, and they still can't pass this test, or they take the test and they fail. You know why? Because all the energy is focused on content, rebuilding, reviewing, recalling. However, the skill that we keep talking about, that is what you need to put focus and emphasis on. A skill is an art. A skill is like hitting a golf ball, golf club. You have to practice and practice and perfect practice until you're really good at it. And that's the first step, is to be a better test taker and learning test taking skills. So now, there's a couple examples I have from Amboss QBank that's going to show you one content example versus test taking example. And you can see here in this great scenario, they discuss the last 2 lines. A Flozin drug is added to her diabetes regimen. This patient is at greatest risk of the following adverse effects. Now, you might say, Dr. Stavros, this is pharmacology. I'm not sure, I don't know, I'm not comfortable with the MOAs or the adverse effects. Exactly. You must know content. You must know the medication, you must know the MOAs, mechanism of actions, and you must know the adverse effects. If you don't know that information, how can you answer any question? So if you find yourself reading the last 2 lines in this specific scenario, or any scenario that has a similar question that they're asking, and then you see yourself going to the top and read the whole scenario, unfortunately, you don't know the information. Because I can tell you right now, you don't need to read the whole scenario, which saves you time. There's a drug, Flozin drug, it was added to a regimen, and they're saying this drug is causing what adverse effect? So you must know the adverse effects. You go top to bottom and find the answer. On this slide, there's the answer. So vaginal candidiasis. So in this situation, you would take your time, read the medication. No, every medication has only one MOA, but has many adverse effects. So a lot of students out there, maybe even you, maybe skips a few steps and they start doing questions without really focusing on content. Unfortunately, without content, there's no test taking skills. So that's why we're here today to show you, once you have the content structured and really, 65% covered, these test taking skills that I'm going to show you, putting it together, implementing on a day-to-day basis is what's going to allow you to pass your Step 1 exam. So in this example, I'm going to show you the difference between content and test-taking skills and why it's very important to build your test-taking skills and techniques. So if you read the scenario, the MOA of this agent is most similar to that of which of the following drugs. They add a glinide to the regimen. So now you need to know glinide, okay, that's content, but now there's all these drugs listed below. This test-taking skill is, can you knock out one by one the answer choices, just in case if you don't know what the glinide medication is. So that's why in test taking skills, you might know the content, but you need to be able to knock out the other answer choices so you can increase the chance of actually either getting 50-50 or getting the right answer. And using these skills over and over and over again will allow you to be less stressed, less nervous, less anxious, just because I know many of you now read a scenario, expect to see something similar on exam day, and you won't. And because of that, you get stressed. So if you increase your test-taking skills, you're walking in literally with multiple plans. You have content under your belt, the medication, but you also have skills. If you don't have a skill, you're just walking in on content. And if you don't know this medication, the glinide or something similar that is similar to glinide, you won't get the question right. And that's why I push heavy, and I'm going to push you guys really hard with this. Test-taking skills is what you need to really focus on to walk into the exam and just be confident that you're going to pass the test. And in this slide, you can see the explanation to the previous question, and it really emphasizes that content can take you up to a certain point. When you look at the first aid and have that huge page of all of this information here, having your skills help you on exam day, you'll be able to detect and actually knock out all the answer choices because they clearly are not the ones focusing or similar to the glinide's to the glinide's MOA. So if you don't improve your skills, you're just walking in on content. And if you're walking in not knowing what the medication is, you will not choose the right answer. So the first secret that I shared with you guys was test-taking skills. Now here's the second secret, the big 3. Immuno, micro, biochem. I know what you're thinking. You're like, Dr. Stavros, it's the 3 Ps. No, that's Path, Phys, and Pharm. We got that. These are the big threes. We have immuno, micro, biochem. Not only do you cover these earlier in your medical school career, in medical school, but then later when you're studying for the Step 1 exam, it feels like you haven't seen this content in years. So not only do you have to go back and review it, many of you don't, but all the little details that are found in every organ system, cardio, pulmonary, renal, guess what? Ties back to these three. So if you master these three, and I'm telling you, a lot of material there, but if you work with test-taking skills to master these three, I can guarantee you cover so much content in your test prep that's gonna feel like you're covering 80% of the actual exam. Training in these three topics correctly will allow you to have that confidence that if you're answering a question in cardio or in renal or in pulmonary and you know it's pneumonia, but then they ask you about a virulence factor or some MOA, you're like, oh, I don't remember the detail. And that's why with this technique and knowing the big three, you'll have that leverage, that power, that confidence to pass your exam. Unfortunately, most students don't study these topics correctly or consistently. Doc, what if you had a USMLE training that could focus your time and energy on the right resources, keeps you accountable and on schedule, strengthens your weaknesses, provides feedback, support, and guidance? Would you pass the exam? So now I want to share with you the steps for Step 1 success. Well, you have to assess your strengths and weaknesses. You can't start studying without knowing where your weaknesses are and focusing that attention there. Consistent practice. We all hear that practice makes perfect, but it's actually perfect practice. And like a test-taking skill, you need to put the emphasis on practicing each and every day. Accountability system. I know and you know, you got to stay accountable, and many students don't. They don't stick to their day-to-day routine. Focus guidance. I know you all focus, but are you guided the right way? Are you focusing your attention to where it needs to be focused on, or are you just spending countless hours searching content, answering random questions, and still not seeing progress? And if you take all these steps together, then you'll pass your exam. So typically when I work with a student, first things first is we have to put them through an assessment. We have to evaluate their strengths and weaknesses in three areas that matter most: micro, biochem, and immuno. They receive a detailed analysis so they know and we know what to focus their attention on when studying. The great thing is this assessment is powered by AI. It provides immediate and personalized feedback. Once I know where you're at, the next step immediately is to jump into test-taking skills. I show students how to go beyond medical knowledge and content, that if they perfect the test-taking skills, they can answer any question. I show them how to recognize different question formats. You need to be aware how the questions are written. Some are easy, some are more challenging, some are very, very simple, and some without this bit of knowledge, you can't truly answer. And also learn how to apply strategies and techniques to all USMLE questions. So combining all these test-taking skills will allow you to answer more questions correctly and have a higher chance of passing a Step 1 exam. So I know we've been talking about accountability and being consistent. Well, when I work with students, they get to see me each and every day. We meet twice a day, every single week, Monday through Friday. In the mornings, we focus on the big three: micro, biochem, and immuno, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, we mix it up. We test your knowledge on all the organ systems. And at the end of those sessions, we focus on Q&As. Now, the reason why we do that is every single week, we're gonna keep repeating micro, biochem, and immuno, as well as the organ systems, but they'll be all fresh questions because you know and I know you have to keep reviewing and recalling the content. Then in the afternoons, we focus on organ systems. Every single day will be a different organ system. So you see me in the morning, you see me in the afternoon. How do you not build your accountability? How do you not stay on schedule? How do you not stay structured? So by meeting daily, focusing on the right test-taking skills, strategies, and techniques, and also the content, that is how you pass the Step 1 exam. And finally, when I work with medical students, I use high leverage tools for efficient studying. I don't want any of my students wasting time looking for information. So my team and I created chatbots and AI technology to increase efficiency so you don't have to waste time, you're more productive, and you focus on what needs to be done to study. We chunk all the information into groups. So in the morning, you have micro, biochem, immuno. In the afternoons, you touch on organ systems each and every day, each and every month. And honestly, the majority of you out there, including me when I was a medical student, we had issues reviewing, issues recalling the information, hey, even putting some time aside to review the content. So all of this is combined together in the Step 1 success system that allows you the confidence to pass your Step 1 exam. So if you want to pass your USMLE Step 1 on your first attempt, if you failed in the past or are in a race against the clock, if you want to be one of the first medical students to train on AI technology, if you spend too much time, effort, and energy figuring out what resources to use, how to use them, not even knowing if they're right for you, if you're just lost and need a plan for success, if you answered yes to most of those questions, you need the USMLE Step 1 success system. That's where you're going to get the big 3 AI-powered USMLE assessment. We evaluate your strengths and weaknesses in those 3 areas: micro, biochem, and immuno. You get access to the on-demand test-taking skills course. You're going to watch me walk you through key tactics to analyze any and all USMLE exam questions. You'll be able to attend the big 3 live workshops, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, each and every week, month after month with your membership. You'll have access to our test-taking skills live workshop. Remember, Tuesdays and Thursdays, where we change it up a bit and we test you on all the systems and open up the floor for a Q&A. And we also cover the organ systems, Monday through Friday, every single day, different organ system. No one teaches this way. We put all this together. Now you have a system that allows you to pass a Step 1 exam with confidence. And here's my friend, Dr. Sergio. Like many of you, he was struggling when prepping for Step 1 exam. He had issues with test-taking skills. He had issues with accountability. Once he realized the big 3 was really weak, he started working on that, building the strength, started working on test-taking skills, being more accountable, and with confidence, he went in and passed Step 1. What is he doing now? He's studying for Step 2 CK. And here's my friend, Dr. Hayden. He was a student during COVID, and he had many challenges to overcome, including staying accountable. So he worked hard, he was consistent with his prep, he passed his school comp exam, he worked on test-taking skills, practiced each and every day, and then eventually passed the Step 1 exam in less than 3 months on his first attempt. What makes this different? No one teaches this way. With 10 plus years of mentoring medical students, I've seen it all. Content is good. Content with test-taking skills is better. Focusing on the big 3, micro, biochem, and immuno, is crucial to increase your score to a point of passing. No one's doing it this way. And having AI-powered assessments and study bots for consistent results, and also making sure you're accountable and to reference content faster and be more efficient with time. So I did mention earlier in the training that you'd have an opportunity to work directly with me. You see, Doc, I've worked with tens of thousands of medical students and physicians for over 10 years. I've heard what issues they've had, challenges, common pitfalls. I know what works and what doesn't work. And I've taken all those experiences and I put it into this USMLE Step 1 success system. And I know that if you take this system and you implement it each and every day with your studies, you'll have a better chance of passing the Step 1 exam. So right away, every student receives an assessment from our AI-powered USMLE assessment bot. That's going to allow you and allow us to figure out exactly where your weaknesses are in micro, biochem, and immuno. You'll have access to our on-demand test-taking skills course where you'll watch me for 3 hours, assist and help you with being a better test taker, analyzing all different types of questions, how they're created and structured, how to really approach a question that might be challenging to you, and watch out for those tricks that they put in every so often so they can distract you on exam day. You'll have access to our webinars 3 times a week where you'll watch me navigate you through micro, biochem, and immuno Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And on Tuesdays and Thursdays, we mix it up. We throw all the organ systems together so I can see exactly what you know, what you don't know. And at the end of those 2 sessions, we have a Q&A. And you'll have access to our afternoon workshops where I will attack all the organ systems Monday through Friday, all throughout the month, so you have more exposure to not only the micro, biochem, and immuno, but every possible organ system. So you'll be attending workshops twice a day, 5 days a week for 10 hours. And as a bonus, I want to provide you with the big 3 critical questions 30-pack. I've selected 30 questions from AMBO specifically in micro, biochem, and immuno that's going to jumpstart your knowledge and strength in those 3 topics. And I also want to give you the First Aid AI Medical Study Bot, where we take AI technology and the first aid, we put it together, and you have access to that to ask it any kind of questions you want, 24/7, to make sure you work as hard as possible to retain all that information that's in that book for your exam day. So if you had a system that provided you with an assessment, obtain your baseline to figure out where your strengths and weaknesses are, to help you with test-taking skills and practice those skills to perfect them on exam day, to keep you accountable, to help you be more efficient and effective in your studies, as well as focusing on all the high-yield content that they're going to test you on exam day, you think you'd pass? What would a system like that be worth to you? In the past, I've charged my medical students thousands of dollars for this type of information. This USMLE Step 1 Success System is valued at over $5,000. Today, I want to offer you our monthly membership for only $99. There's limited availability and there's only 50 spots left. Doc, I want you to take advantage of this offer today. I want you to try this USMLE Step 1 Success System for a month and see exactly how you're going to be a better test taker with your skills and be able to practice more on your questions, be held more accountable, be more effective and efficient in your studies, and also strengthen all the different material, not only in the big three, microbiochem and immuno, but all the organ systems. Allow me to do what I do best and help you pass your Step 1 exam. We're investing in your success on Step 1. So thank you so much for joining our free training, and I'll see you all in our live webinars.